you know. Madam Chair, I attend a lot of events with African, Caribbean and Black communities in this province. And you know, at many of them I've heard the Premier, UCP ministers, their representatives for outreach, when they're talking to Black audiences, they talk about how they acknowledge systemic racism exists. I've even heard them commit to take action on it. Indeed, the Premier even has an Alberta Black Advisory Council to, quote, advise the Premier on combating anti-Black racism, removing systemic barriers and improving Black Albertans' well-being, etc. But Bill 13, Madam Chair, it shows just how little their words mean. Just how absolutely profoundly performative those actions are. February 2024, KPMG Canada, they put out a survey on how Canadian employers are making progress on anti-Black racism. They reported that 81% of African, Caribbean and Black workers experienced some kind of racism or microaggression in the workplace over the last year. 13% reported that they had experienced more in the last year. Now, interestingly, they also report that 83% of Black Canadians say their employer has made progress on their promises to be more equitable and inclusive for Black employees. 82% that their company has made significant progress in a more equitable and inclusive workplace in the 4 years since African-American George Floyd Jr.'s murder and the global Black Lives Matter protests. 83% said they've seen visible progress regarding building a pipeline of Black talent with the goal of promoting them into the C-suite. And compared to 4 years ago, over three-quarters, 76% said their company now has a Black person in the C-suite or on the board of directors. 75% say that their co-workers' understanding has improved over the last year, same number their manager or supervisor, same number top management. Madam Chair, that didn't happen by accident or on its own. It was the result of intentional efforts to engage workers at these businesses, management, in conversations and education about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Indeed, that's what KPMG's Chief Inclusion, Diversity and Equity Officer, Rob Davis, said. He said, among the first steps towards change in the workplace are awareness and understanding of racial privilege across social, political, economic, and cultural environments. So, to summarize, an overwhelming majority of African, Caribbean, and Black Canadian workers surveyed said that DEI initiatives have made their lives better. But thanks to a handful of supporters of the UCP, Bill 13 has taken that away. Bill 13 is saying these programs, those initiatives that have benefited all of these Black workers should not exist. The UCP thinks none of this should have happened. The work done by the Black Faculty Collective at the U of A, to work with leadership at the U of A to significantly increase the number of Black professors working on that staff and working in leadership positions, the UCP says shouldn't have happened. Their Black youth mentorship and leadership programs should not exist. It's an insult, Madam Chair, and it undermines everything I have heard this government say when they stand in front of African, Caribbean, and Black professionals in this province. Because I can tell you, Madam Chair, I've stood in some of the most conservative rooms in this province. And when Black professionals have stood up to speak, they have talked about the reality of systemic racism and the need to combat it, to take action, not just to spread nice words, to support DEI initiatives. But this government, through Bill 13, is saying no. Professional regulatory bodies will not be allowed to institute programs and supports for Black professionals. So I want to take a moment, Madam Chair, and I want to speak directly to Black professionals in Alberta about Bill 13. To those men and women and others across our province, with Bill 13, this government is abandoning you, sacrificing your interests to a small minority. Bill 13 means that if you encounter discrimination in your workplace, racism, you'll be on your own. your professional association will not be allowed to support you. The kinds of programs that, as noted by a top leader with KPMG, have improved the workplace for African, Caribbean, and Black people, that have reduced discrimination and improved opportunity for people like you.
Sorry, point of order has been raised. The Honourable Deputy Whip.
Madam Chair, the member across the way is from Edmonton Centres under HIJ. He's making allegations that the members is putting false unmotivated motives of this government, and quite honestly, he's using abusive and insulting language to his audience and to insinuate that we're basically racist. It's absolutely outrageous and disgusting, and he needs to withdraw and he needs to apologize these comments.
The Honourable Opposition House Leader.
I was waiting for the member to sit. Madam Chair, this is not a point of order. What this is a debate on a really serious, really tough issue in which one of my members is bringing forward the lived experience of impacted community members who will be impacted by Bill 13. The member uses 23I. No false or unavowed motives were imputed to another member. I've listened carefully to every word that was said. The member was talking only about government action, not about any individuals, and uses abusive or insulting language of a nature likely to create disorder. I disagree with that as well. I think being able to describe accurately what is happening with a piece of legislation and the impact it will have on constituents and on Albertans across this province is an important part of the debate. So while it is sensitive, it is also important, and I believe it was completely parliamentary and an important matter of debate, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, honourable members, for your remarks. I do agree this is a sensitive debate. Certainly, particularly a sensitive topic in which the member was speaking to. I think it's important that there is no insinuation that anyone, even the government, particularly the government in this case, is seeking out or targeting a specific group of individuals. It's not helpful to this debate. It's not a point of order. But I will provide some caution, given the remarks that I just made to the member speaking, and ask him to continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To be absolutely clear, I am not insinuating that this government is targeting African, Caribbean, and Black communities, but I am absolutely stating they are significantly letting them down.
Yeah, that's right. Hear, hear.
They are not living up to their promises that they have made to those communities. And as I was saying to those communities, this government is more interested in defending the rights of their supporters to say offensive things than defending your rights and your dignity, your opportunity. With Bill 13, they're effectively saying the challenges, the discrimination, the barriers that you face don't exist, or at least are not worthy of attention.
Sorry, I have to interrupt. Can you just direct your comments through the chair?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, to African, Caribbean, and Black Albertans. When they stand, through you, Madam Chair, in front of these communities and say the words, they mouth the platitudes, they say what they think those communities want to hear, but their actions speak louder than their words. And their actions, their decisions, as laid out here in Bill 13, is to make their lives harder for the sake of their own political gain. They don't stand with you, with those communities, Madam Chair, through you. Not when it counts. They are choosing to make things harder for these communities, for these individuals, for their children, their friends, their communities at large, to make it easier to speak hate and harder to combat the effects of it.
That's certainly to incite that's certainly going to cause disorder in this House. To say that something is hateful, we are very close to the line, I suppose, is why I'm stepping in. And I don't want to get to the line, but we're very close. So I intervene at this point, and I know you know, and you're a very skilled debater, and I have faith in your arguments moving forward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will simply note that Bill 13 is about the government's insistence that professionals must be allowed to say things that others may find offensive. But these government members do not want me, as a professional in this place, as a representative of many communities, to say things they find offensive, despite the fact they are true.
That's right.
That strikes me, Madam Chair, as the ultimate hypocrisy.
Yes, here,
Thank you.